When he pulls away, the first and most important thing you must do is embrace your power. And let me be crystal clear. Your power does not come from his attention, his validation, or his presence in your life. Your power comes from within. It comes from the undeniable fact that you are enough exactly as you are. The moment you start to believe that, everything changes. Let's talk about what usually happens when someone we care about starts to pull away. That feeling of distance can be terrifying. It triggers fear, insecurity, and doubt. You start questioning yourself. What did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? Did I say something to push him away? This kind of thinking is dangerous because it puts your power in someone else's hands. It makes your worth dependent on whether or not he chooses you. But here's what you need to understand. You are already chosen. You are already worthy. Now, I know this is easier said than done. When emotions get involved, it's natural to want to hold on tighter. But I want you to shift your mindset right now. Instead of seeing his withdrawal as a loss, see it as a test. A test of how much you truly believe in yourself. A test of whether you will shrink in fear or rise in confidence. The way you respond in this moment will define what happens next. True power is the ability to stand tall when things feel uncertain. It's the ability to say, I love and value myself, whether or not he sees it. And when you do this, when you embody self-worth at the deepest level, you become magnetic because confidence is irresistible. But what does embracing your power actually look like? It means not reacting emotionally when he distances himself. It means not texting him frantically, not overanalyzing his every move, and not bending over backward to make him stay. Desperation is not attractive. It sends the message that you need him to feel whole, and that is the exact energy that pushes people away. Instead, stepping into your power looks like taking a deep breath and reminding yourself who you are. It looks like focusing on your own life, your own goals, and your own happiness. It means living in a way that shows you are secure, confident, and content on your own. When you embrace this mindset, something incredible happens. Your energy shifts, and people can feel that. Think about the most powerful, confident people you know. Do they chase? Do they beg for attention? No. They stand firm in who they are. They know that their value does not decrease just because someone else fails to see it. Embracing your power also means recognizing that not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Sometimes when someone pulls away, it's actually a blessing. It's an opportunity for you to reflect and ask yourself, is this person truly aligned with me? Do they truly value and respect me? And if the answer is no, then their distance is simply clearing space for someone who will. The truth is, people respect what they have to work for. When something is easily available, it is often taken for granted. This is human nature. So when you pull back, when you focus on your own life instead of fixating on why he's distant, you shift the dynamic. You show that you are not desperate for his attention. You show that you are whole on your own, and that makes you powerful beyond measure. There's something incredibly attractive about a person who knows their worth and refuses to settle for anything less. When you fully embrace your power, you communicate without saying a word that you are the prize, that you are not just an option, but the ultimate choice. And that, more than anything, makes people take notice. So the next time someone pulls away, take a step back and remind yourself, you are powerful, you are valuable, you do not need to chase because you are already enough. When he pulls away, your first instinct might be to lean in, to try and pull him back toward you. You might feel an urge to reach out, to ask what's wrong, to find a way to fix whatever is happening. But let me tell you something, that is the exact opposite of what you should do. Instead of focusing all your energy on him, it's time to shift the energy back onto yourself. Think about it. Energy is a powerful force. It's something people can feel even when no words are spoken. When your energy is desperate, anxious, or needy, it creates resistance. It makes the other person feel pressured, and that pressure pushes them even further away. But when your energy is calm, self-assured, and abundant, it has the opposite effect. It draws people in. Let's break this down. When you focus on why he's pulling away, you give all your power to him. You make him the center of your emotional world. And the more you obsess over his actions, the more disconnected you become from yourself. That's why the first step in shifting the energy is detaching emotionally. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you take a step back and regain control of your emotions. Start by asking yourself, where is my energy flowing right now? If all your thoughts are centered around him, what he's thinking, why he's acting distant, and whether or not he still wants you, then your energy is misdirected. Instead of pouring all of that mental and emotional energy into him, redirect it toward yourself. One of the most effective ways to shift your energy is through action. When your mind is consumed with overthinking, your emotions spiral. But when you engage in something that excites you, challenges you, or fulfills you, your energy naturally changes. You move from a state of lack to a state of abundance. And let me tell you, abundance is attractive. Think about a time in your life when you were completely focused on your own goals, passions, and happiness. How did people respond to you? Chances are they were drawn to you. That's because when you are fulfilled within yourself, you radiate confidence and joy, and that energy is irresistible. Now let's talk about what happens when you shift your energy away from him and back to yourself. First, you stop reacting, you stop chasing, you stop trying to force something that isn't flowing naturally, and in doing so, you create space. Space is powerful. It allows the other person to feel your absence. It forces them to sit with their own thoughts instead of being met with constant reassurance from you. And in that space, they begin to feel something they didn't expect. Curiosity. Curiosity is the spark that makes people start wondering, what's she up to? Why isn't she reaching out? Is she moving on? And that curiosity plants a seed of attraction because suddenly you're not predictable anymore. You're not readily available, and that makes you more intriguing than ever before. Now, this doesn't mean playing games or pretending to be busy just to get a reaction. That's not what true energy shifting is about. It's about genuinely living your life in a way that fulfills you, regardless of whether or not he's there. Another important part of shifting your energy is embodying confidence in your own worth. Confidence isn't just about looking good or acting like you don't care. It's about knowing deep down that you are valuable, that your presence is a gift, and that you do not need to chase love to be worthy of it. When you truly believe in your own worth, your energy shifts naturally. You no longer seek validation from someone else because you already validate yourself. You no longer feel anxious when someone pulls away because you trust that the right people will always make an effort to be in your life. And most importantly, you stop putting your happiness in someone else's hands. This shift is powerful because it doesn't just affect your love life, it transforms every area of your life. The more you cultivate self-love, the more you attract people who reflect that love back to you. The more you invest in your passions, the more you create a life that excites and fulfills you. And the more you stand in your confidence, the more effortlessly people are drawn to you. At the end of the day, the energy you put out is the energy you receive. If you radiate neediness, you will attract distance. If you radiate confidence, you will attract desire. And when you stop chasing and start focusing on yourself, the right people will take notice. Let's get one thing straight. Human nature is wired to desire what is rare, what is hard to attain, and what feels just out of reach. This is true in business, in luxury markets, and especially in relationships. When something is always available, it's taken for granted. When something becomes scarce, it is suddenly seen as more valuable. This is a psychological principle that applies directly to how people perceive and respond to relationships. Now, let's talk about what happens when a man pulls away. Most people panic. They instinctively try to close the gap, to pull him back in, to remind him of their presence. They reach out more, they check in constantly, they overcompensate with affection or attention. But what does this do? It makes you too available. It sends the message that you are always there no matter how he treats you, no matter how distant he becomes. And as a result, your value in his mind decreases. Think about something as simple as supply and demand. When there's an abundance of something, it's easily overlooked. But when it's scarce, when it's hard to come by, people suddenly start wanting it more. This is why limited edition products sell out in minutes. It's why people are willing to pay a premium for things that are difficult to obtain, because what is rare is valuable. The same rule applies to you. When you are constantly available, when you respond immediately, when you make it clear that you are just waiting for him to give you attention, he doesn't feel the need to miss you. He knows you're there. He knows he can have your time, your energy, and your presence whenever he wants. But the moment you pull back and the moment you become less accessible, everything shifts. When you stop initiating conversations, when you stop waiting by the phone, when you start genuinely focusing on your own life instead of his actions, something changes in the dynamic. He starts to notice your absence. And in that absence, a void is created. A space that was once filled by your presence, your affection, your energy is now empty. And that emptiness triggers something incredibly powerful: desire. Desire is fueled by longing. It's fueled by the fear of loss. When someone realizes that something they once had is no longer guaranteed, they start to appreciate it more. This is why space is so powerful in relationships. It allows the other person to feel what life is like without you, rather than just hearing you talk about it. Many people misunderstand this concept. They think pulling away is about playing games or manipulating someone into wanting them. That's not what this is about. This is about reclaiming your own value. This is about recognizing that your time, your energy, and your presence are gifts that should not be given freely to someone who is unsure about you. When you become less available, you create intrigue, you create curiosity. He starts to wonder where you are, what you're doing, why you aren't chasing him like he expected. And that curiosity leads to attraction. Think about this. Have you ever been drawn to someone simply because they weren't readily available? Maybe it was someone who was focused on their own life, their own passions, and they weren't constantly seeking attention or validation. That energy is attractive because it exudes confidence and self-respect. When you become that person, you naturally draw people in without even trying. But here's where many people go wrong. They try to act unavailable while still obsessing over the other person. They stop texting, but they constantly check their phone to see if he's reached out. They say they're busy, but they're actually just sitting around waiting for him to notice. This is not real scarcity. This is just pretending. True scarcity happens when you actually shift your focus away from him and onto yourself. When you stop waiting and start living. When you genuinely become busy with your goals, busy with your passions, busy with the things that bring you joy. That is when your value increases. Not because you're trying to manipulate him into wanting you, but because you are naturally stepping into a higher version of yourself. Men, like anyone else, are drawn to what they feel they could lose. If he knows you will always be there, no matter how he behaves, there is no urgency, no motivation to step up. But if he starts to feel that he could actually lose you, that you are not someone who will sit around and wait, he is forced to take action. And if he doesn't, that tells you everything you need to know. It tells you that he never truly valued you to begin with, and in that case, pulling away is the best thing you could ever do because it allows you to redirect your energy towards someone who will. When a man pulls away, many women make the mistake of losing themselves in the process. They obsess over why he's acting distant, what they can do to bring him back, and whether they need to change to keep his attention. But this is the exact moment where your focus should shift, not onto him, but onto yourself. This is not about making him miss you by playing games or manipulating his emotions. This is about becoming the best version of yourself so that you naturally attract not just him, but everything you desire. When you reignite your best self, you don't have to make anyone miss you. They feel your absence because your presence was powerful to begin with. Now let's talk about what it really means to reignite your best self. 1, shift from external validation to internal confidence. One of the biggest reasons people feel lost when someone pulls away is because they've tied their happiness, their self-worth, and their sense of fulfillment to that person. When he withdraws, it feels like something has been taken away. But here's the truth. He was never the source of your happiness to begin with. Your confidence, your power, and your joy have always been within you. It's just that somewhere along the way, you started giving someone else control over those things. When you reignite your best self, you take that power back. You stop looking for validation from someone else and start building it within yourself. Ask yourself, who am I when I am at my best? Not when you're in a relationship, not when you're trying to impress someone, but when you are truly and fully in love with your own life. That version of you, the one who is confident, passionate, and radiates energy, is who you need to reconnect with. 2, level up physically, mentally, and emotionally. When you feel good, you look good, and when you look good, you exude confidence. That's why taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally is a non-negotiable when it comes to stepping into your best self. Physically, this means treating your body with respect. Move your body, eat foods that nourish you, and carry yourself with confidence. This isn't about changing yourself to please someone else. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that you feel proud of. Because when you love what you see in the mirror, you radiate an energy that others can't ignore. Mentally, it means strengthening your mindset. Read books that inspire you. Develop skills that make you feel empowered. Instead of spending hours overanalyzing why he pulled away, use that time to invest in yourself. When you cultivate a strong mindset, you become unshakable. Emotionally, it's about healing, growing, and becoming self-aware. Instead of dwelling on his actions, ask yourself, what do I truly want in a relationship? Who do I want to be? How can I create a life so fulfilling that I don't feel the need to chase anyone? When you start focusing on these questions, your energy shifts. You become someone who isn't waiting to be chosen because you have already chosen yourself. 3, a reconnect with your passions and purpose. There's nothing more attractive than a person who is excited about life. Think about the times when you felt the most alive, when you were pursuing something that lit a fire inside of you, when you were working on a goal that made you proud, when you were fully engaged in a life that made you happy. That energy is magnetic. When you reignite your best self, you return to the things that fuel your soul. Maybe it's a creative passion you've neglected. Maybe it's traveling, learning something new, or pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, dive into it. Because when you are in love with your life, people are naturally drawn to you. And here's the best part. When you focus on your own growth and fulfillment, you stop worrying about whether he misses you. You become so focused on building a life that excites you that you don't have time to chase after someone who is unsure about you. 4, become the person people don't want to lose. Here's the secret. The moment you stop waiting for someone to realize your worth is the moment they do. Why? Because you shift from being someone who needs them to someone who is simply thriving. People are naturally drawn to confidence, joy, and independence. When you embody those things, you become someone that people don't want to lose. You don't have to convince anyone to stay, because they will feel the difference when you are no longer seeking their validation. Reigniting your best self isn't about making him miss you. It's about making yourself so fulfilled and radiant that anyone who ever had the chance to be with you realizes exactly what they lost.